Well, good morning, good morning. It's Tuesday morning. That must mean it's coffee with Casper. Here's coffee. Here's the Casper. He knows already. Look at that. Look at that. He knows. Well, we're getting ready to gong ourselves in about 3 minutes. We're glad you're here. As we know, it's a little bit early because we're going to talk about the law of probabilities and how all that works. So we're glad you're here today with us. And we're live on Facebook. That's good. That means we're up on YouTube. So we are happy that you're here this morning. I know that we're early. If you happen to be here early with us, then check in, say hi, and we will rebroadcast. I'll repost this again at 8:30. I have some appointments this morning that would cause me to have to be out of here sooner than 8:30, so we are just adjusting to the reality. As we often talk about, we are in the is-ness business. There's what you think is going to happen, and then there's what's happening. And always in the eternal now, that's the right time, right? It's the right time in the eternal now. So it's 7:13 Pacific time, and we're going to gong ourselves in 2 minutes. We are glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. I'm Harry Morgan Moses. This is going to be Coffee with Casper. And I hope you have your beverage of choice this morning. So many things have happened since we were last together, and we're going to label that good. YouTube, we are up on YouTube. We are up on Facebook. We are happening like we've been here before and done this before. There we go. About another minute, we're going to gong ourselves in. Welcome, welcome. You can see Casper's tail there in the background. He's busy chasing lizards. That's what he loves to do. He's a lizard chaser. One of my grandkids, Christian, the 8-year-old, turns 8-year-old tomorrow, Wednesday. And he loves to go out and find lizards here up in Topanga, in Southern California, in the Santa Monica Mountains, the northern end of LA County. Next county over is Ventura. And the next county after that is Santa Barbara. The next county after that is San Luis Obispo. So you're going from south to north and until you finally get up to San Francisco and then points beyond. Good morning from South Carolina, Becky. Nice to see you this morning. And there's 7:15. We're going to gong ourselves in. So let's everybody get ready to take a deep breath. Remember, every breath is a holy breath, but the more consciousness you bring to the breath, the holier it becomes, right? A very important thing to honor the holy breath within each of us. All right, so we're going to take a big deep breath in. Relax the shoulders. And let out the sound, ah. As we're just going to settle into this 20 minutes together. One more time, big deep breath in. Let that breath rise up into your heart center. And let's just spend 20 minutes together in a heart-centered awareness of the I am that I am, knowing that the I am that I am is the same I am that exists in every single soul. And we are born in the image and likeness of the One. And the more we begin to consciously direct our energy in that way, the more we separate ourselves from the word that came to me was the calamity of the race, right? But we love our humanness, and we love our divinity, and we just know that divinity wins, and we choose to put our attention there. So it's been a few weeks. I was at sea, traveling 75 miles across the Santa Catalina Channel. And good morning, Graham. Nice to see you this morning. The water in that channel, at least where I was in, sometimes goes to as deep as 7,500 feet. And most of the time in that channel where I'm crossing, it's around 3,200 feet, 3,300 feet, particularly when you can't see land for an hour or two. And it's really interesting to be in that very deep water, because here in Southern California, what happens is the currents, the swell often goes in one direction. One is going this way and one is going that way. And that on the surface creates, the boat is hard to find a steady pattern because it's going to get moved around all the time. And contemplating that while I was in the deeper water there, I remember that underneath the surface is a very different deal. I mean, unless you're an oceanographer, you don't really know what's down 3,500 feet, what's living down there in what would be totally black. But those creatures are in currents that are not rough. They know how to adjust to those underwater currents. And as you rise higher up to the surface, we see that it gets rougher. And if you've been alive in the human condition and aware of things on the globe, so many things have happened in the last 3 weeks since we were together. And those are all surface changes on the surface. What the philosopher Ernest Holmes reminds us is as above, well, it actually goes back to ancient wisdom, as above, so below, as within, so without. And we begin to realize that what's really happening in our lives is not being caused by what you read in the newspapers on a daily basis. It's being caused by the sum total of our awareness, where we're putting our attention. And we then need to learn to separate ourselves from the surface. If you're when I was young, did a lot of body surfing. And when the waves were too big and you had to go underneath them, you would dive down to where the waves were not disturbing that lower level, 8 or 10 feet below where the waves were crashing. Right? So there's always a place for us to go. Now, we could say either to the highest place to raise up into the consciousness of the I am that I am and bring that consciousness into our body. Good morning, Mark from Atascadero. Good morning from Palm Desert. We're glad you're all here. We know it's a little early this morning, but again, we talk about being in the isness business. I'm a father. I'm a grandfather. I'm married for 41 years, and there's responsibilities that go with all of that, and sometimes those responsibilities will change your plan. So the two things we wanted to talk about today is, one, let's not be so concerned with the false causes on the surface. They're not really causes. We had, if you were paying attention to the markets, big dip in the markets over the weekend, and everybody freaked out, and then people started to make comments about how real it was, and then there's a readjustment in the morning. 2 or 3 days later, it takes to find out what really that surface activity is doing. So when we take a snapshot of the surface, sometimes it might be rough, sometimes it might be rainy, sometimes it might be hot, and a few days later, to take a snapshot, it will be different. So we learn to live from a deeper place in our awareness, yeah? We begin to realize what we often talk about here on Coffee with Casper, is the Tibetan Book of the Dead saying, I came from the light, I put on a coat of skins, and I will return to the light. We came from the light in purpose fulfilled. We came here at a time of in the human condition where the opportunity for a dawning of a new awareness of who and what we are and how to bring the deeper law of harmony. We know Judge Thomas Troward, the British magistrate in India at the time, who became very interested in pursuing the understanding of the Hindu tradition while at the same time embracing his Christian heritage. What he discovered was that that the fundamental law of the universe is harmony. We know that that's the fundamental law of the universe. If we get off of the surface and dive deeper in, or we get off of the surface and rise higher up, right, we begin to see that the universe itself doesn't really care about your opinion of the moment, doesn't really care about the snapshot on the surface of the moment, because the universe itself will continue. There is no power that will rise up and destroy infinite life. Never has been, never will be. That was all made up by humans. What if the dark side overtook? Well, when light comes, the dark comprehendeth it not. There's no fight between light and darkness. As soon as there's light, the darkness dissipates. Right? So what we see metaphorically is that you and I have to be the place where. Good morning, Pam. Nice to see you this morning from way up there in the Napa zone. Nice to have you with us today. What we see is that the the fundamental reality of harmony is something we can call into our being because we are conscious spiritual beings. The more we are of the consciousness of harmony as the persistent law of the universe, or as the first law of the universe, the more we will look at the surface activities and not be intimidated. Our little boat is not a big sea. In fact, when they say small craft warnings, that would be our boat. It's a small craft warning. It's not supposed to be out there in the big dangerous seas, but it's perfectly capable of handling itself on seas that are beyond warning, that are not in a warning zone. And so it's not going to sink, it's not going to crash, it's very well designed. And when it starts to rock all over the place, what we have to know is that's just the surface activity. The boat is fine. You check all of the systems on the boat, they're all running. It's just like a pilot in an airplane. You double check that everything's fine, and then you hit turbulence, and the turbulence passes, right? So, and we learn how to adjust to the stronger turbulences and the adjustments that we need to make along the way. Because the idea, the fundamental law in flying is the plane is not going to go down. The fundamental law in boating is boats are safe in the harbor, but that's not what they're meant for. That's not what they're designed for. So we are like that. We have come on a journey into the deep waters of life, into the deep waters of human transformation, which is this dawning of the age of Aquarius that we're in now, where we begin to realize that the spiritual aspect of our being is where the law of harmony resides and is where we need to put our attention, right? So every day we need to see through, as again the Ernest Holmes, the philosopher, very poetically put it, we need to see through the mist into the eternal and changeless reality. And then every day, because the surface is changing day to day. Good morning, Reverend Angelica Jane Taggart from Eureka. She has found it. We're glad you're here this morning. We need to draw into our awareness every day that transcendent reliance on the law of harmony, the transcendent call on the law of harmony to bring that law into our life, that no matter what the surface activity we know is happening, we can go, sometimes in life we are at ease, things are going smoothly, and then all of a sudden we're in dis-ease. And dis-ease is just that. It means the ease has gone awry, right? But the fundamental law is harmony. So that dis-ease can return to ease. The more we are conscious of that, the more we draw on the perfect pattern of the I am that I am, the Atman, the Buddha, the high self, the more I live from the I am presence. One of the affirmations I use nightly in my meditations is I am grateful. The I am consciousness governs my mind, my body, my home, and all the affairs of my life. The I am presence governs my mind, my body, my home, and all the affairs of my life. Even as I repeat that affirmation now, I get what I call God bumps. I can feel the living presence itself. Oh, Casper, look, so cute. He says, I can feel it. Casper says, I can feel the living presence. That's right. Because he knows no matter what, he's loved. He knows no matter what, joy is the fundamental reality of life. And golden retrievers are very good at reminding us that. So are our four-legged friends. My little kitty cat. She loves to purr and sit with you and let you know that things are good, right? When she's content, everybody's content. So this is ours to do, to see through the mist, to not allow the surface activity to throw us completely off center. Sometimes the surface activity will get our attention. We have to adjust. We have to change our plans because we're in a time where science and religion are walking hand in hand into the future. Science and spirituality are walking hand in hand. And the two sciences that we know of, Newtonian science and quantum science, which have seemed to be non-congruous, they are in fact congruous. But the supreme law of the universe is the quantum law, that the consciousness looking upon it changes the experience in it. So when we allow the surface to throw us off, we become the place where we're adding to the pool of dissatisfaction, the pool of contentment, the pool of worry and doubt. And what we need to do is, when the waves come, simply know that we are in the safe vessel. I came from the light. This body is a safe vessel for me. I can move in this world with this body, in this body, honoring this body. The more I honor the body, the more radiant, vibrant, dynamic it begins to reflect as my mind stays in tune with the perfect pattern of the gift of the I am that I am. As I begin to rely all of the time on the I am presence to guide, guard, direct, protect, and lead me into the paths of perfect right action, right? The I am presence, I am that. I am identifying with, I came from the light. I made the choice. I asked my Father, Mother, God, I asked Source, I asked Creator, let me serve the I am that I am. And that's what we're all doing. Whatever we name our path, we have come to bring our gifts of talent into the world and to learn to expand our love. It's really that simple. We have come to bring our gifts of talent into the world and to learn to expand our love. And the more we focus on being that instrument of love, on being that instrument of light, the more we call it into our being on a daily basis, the more we begin to see what looks like little tiny miracles happening all around us. Everything from right parking places to smooth travels to safe adjustments to even when the waves hit and we have to adjust in our little boat. You can't leave things on the counter when you go out into the big sea because they're going to fall down onto the floor. So before you hit the big sea, you have to take things off of the counter and put it down on the floor so it doesn't crash, right? We begin to have insights on how to adjust to the race consciousness that still believes at some level in war, still believes in violence, still believes that there's insufficient supply in the universe, where Buckminster Fuller pointed out years ago, decades ago, that there's more than enough supply. The problem is we haven't learned how to distribute it in a way that's balanced and brings life and more life all across the globe. But sooner or later, we have to give the idea of war and killing and retribution and revenge. These ideas are no longer serving humanity. We have to figure out how to be an instrument of peace, to be an instrument of love, to be an instrument of joy, to call forth the qualities of the divine that are already inherent within us into our life on a daily basis. So, how does that work? Well, I set my consciousness. I established a greater good. I know love is leading the way. I know joy is the truth of who and what I am. But I put out these intentions, and now the water got rough, or I had to adjust because I have responsibilities, or it's not going the way I planned it. Well, remember, every one of us is a source of the law of cause. And what the universe is doing is looking for the highest level of probability, the highest level of the unfoldment of love into the world through the choices that everybody is making. So we include the fact that others are making choices that are not high, and that because of that we may have to adjust our course, not meaning that our intention, remember that's what we call a soft honing device. So long as my intention is to bring more love, more light, more wisdom, more joy, more peace into the world, then through the quantum probabilities of everybody else making choice, the highest good will unfold for me. It may not always look exactly like the way I had envisioned it, but it will come out even better than that because the law of love, the inspiration, the spontaneous inspiration of race. Hey, good morning from Hastings Mesa, Mr. Paul Fagan, the creative genius out there in Colorado now, from Studio City and Colorado. Isn't that fantastic? We all get to find the places in nature and love and life that really touch our soul and cause us to be able to more easily dwell in a place where we are attracting good and more good. Good and more good is mine. There's no limit to the good that is mine. Everywhere I look, I see this good. I feel it. It crowds against me. I open my heart. It flows through me and multiplies itself around me. This is the path that we need to take deliberately, persistently, and consistently every day in our lives. And that's why each one of us, find a spiritual practice that begins to work for us, that begins to cause us to see the greater good coming into our lives, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what our responsibilities are, no matter what adjustments we have to make along the way, because we have charted the course to comfortably live our lives and fulfill our purpose through our conscious awareness and our daily practice. Trust me, there is so much misconception in the race consciousness that it's important that we clarify our thinking, clarify our intentions, magnify our good through our prayers and meditations every day, and insisting on the outcome of a higher order of love. I'm Harry Morgan Moses. You're watching Coffee with Casper. If you find anything wonderful or valuable in our 20 minutes together, we ask you to share this video. Share it in your groups, share it on LinkedIn, go to YouTube, like, follow. Let's magnify this good. And this 20 minutes of inspiration, this 20 minutes of deeper ideas, this 20 minutes of connecting in, let us bring all of those light workers that are working on clarifying their own consciousness to clear the way to comfortably live your life and fulfill your purpose. Let us all join together as often as we can. One candle can light up a whole room, but millions of candles can change the world. And there are now millions of us. We are not the majority, but we are carrying more light and a higher vibration. And that vibration will penetrate the waves and allow us to sink into the law of harmony, to draw from that law and bring harmony and good and more good into our lives. This is not because I have invented a philosophy. It's because I am part of an awakening world, and so are you. And we are grabbing on, we are latching on, we are grabbing the sky hook of these higher ideas that we may be a transformative consciousness not only in our lives, but for the lives of everybody we touch. I'm Harry Morgan Moses. This has been Coffee with Casper. We will not be back next week. I will be in New York City with family. Hopefully everybody doing well and rowing merrily. Row your boat merrily and gently down the stream. Be kind to yourselves. We'll see you in a few weeks. I'll keep you posted as to when we're live. We're certainly glad you're with us today, and we're certainly glad that everybody can access these videos on YouTube and Facebook 24/7 anytime they want. More than 4 years of reminders. And I'm so glad to be here with you this morning and to be reminded of the truth of who I am and the truth of who you are and the truth of what great good together we can bring into the world. Until we meet again, I invite you to go in the light, as the light, and with the light. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. Bye for now. Come on up, Casper. He wants to say bye. Where's everybody? They're over here. Look over here. Look at see that face. There's a facey dog. Bye for now. We'll see you soon. Highest love always.